folks, welcome to this month's tutorial. You have 3 different fabrics in this month's box, and I've selected the 2 that I'd like to use to make my evening scarf. I've gone with this one, and obviously I've gone with the one with the stalks, which again is a lovely fabric. So you've got some trim in your box, and the very first thing you need to do is pin the trim around the edge. And if you have any bits of your trim with obviously broken edges like this, or the join edges, just have it so that it bucks up here, and you've got about a centimetre of the ridge, 1.5 centimetres going upwards. So I've got 2 of those on my fabric piece. You can see here as well, and just pin it round your edge. Now I haven't cut the selvage off my bits of fabric, I'm going to do that afterwards, so I'm just maximising the size of my fabric here, and just loosely and carefully go around the corners when you are pinning your pom-pom trim down. The second stage, which I'm about to do now, is to get my stalk fabric, and I'm going to carefully place this on top and have that pinned in place ready to sew. So I'm going to go ahead and get that to how I'd want it, and I'll come back and we will do the sewing. Right, so I've just pinned the stalk fabric onto the top here, and we're going to sew all the way around the short edge here, long edge, short edge, and somewhere along here we need to leave a gap for it to turn through, and we will hand stitch it together. So this is quite an easy make, however it is fiddly. So I have pinned the stalk fabric, as you can see, in the centre here, because I'd like to be able to keep lifting up my fabric like this to check where the pom-pom trim is and making sure that I'm catching that within my machine. Now what you want to be doing is catching it along here. So I'm going to be using 1/4 inch seam allowance and just guiding myself visually through that on my machine. Okay, you've got 2 choices of thread in this month's box. You've got the light colour one and a dark colour one, so it's entirely up to you which one you're going to use. I'm going to go for the darker thread. Right, let's get going. Right, so when you're set up ready with your machine, what I have just done is popped my needle. I've gone for the centre of one of the longer lengths here, and I've popped my needle into the machine, lifted up my presser foot, and just checked the positioning of where that needle is on my pom-pom trim. Okay, and I mean, you can change yours so that you've got more of the trim showing or just the pom-pom showing. That's entirely up to you, and just make sure that you just check where the positioning is of that. Remember to do a back stitch as well when you start this. Check for your pins. I'm just going to check again that I'm happy with where the needle position is and the trim. Come up to another needle. Or should I say pin? Stuck in there. moved slightly, so I'm just going to move that back. Now coming up to a join with the pom-poms, so I'm just going to put them up together like that and have them come out. Fabric here, put that one over the top and hold that in place. Just take that pin out. It's moved slightly, so I'm just going to move that back over. Now this is a tricky bit coming up, because we need to go around this corner, and we're going to do that nice and slowly, and there might be quite a few times that we're lifting up the presser foot just to turn round that corner, okay? Pin out. Okay. Okay, so we're nearly there. There we go, I'm going to straighten up. Make sure I'm on my pom-pom trim. Might need to come in a tiny bit. Let me just check that. Yes, we're in, okay. Right, so I've trimmed my edges, done my corners. I'm about to turn this through the gap, which is just here. Always looking pretty, look at that. The exciting part. Okay, so, oh, that's lovely. Really pleased with that. That pom-pom trim just looks great. Whoops. So, what I need to do is make sure all the corners are through nicely. And then the next stage is, give that a little bit of a wiggle. Oh, that's really, really nice. Really pleased with that. I'm looking forward to wearing this. Okay, so that's that edge done. Do the corner here. Now obviously we have got, some of you have got the white pom-pom trim or the black pom-pom trim, so each of yours, although following the same design, are all going to look a bit different depending on your colour choices. I mean, equally this would look beautiful with the other fabric in the box. It's quite hard to choose between the two really, so you can always use this with other bits of fabric, this design with other bits of fabric, and vary it up a bit and make yourself some lovely evening scarves. Right, the next stage, we are going to find the opening, and we're going to press this, and when we press it, we're going to press that down along the seam line. And you have two choices here. You can hand stitch this together, or you can do a top stitch all the way around the edge of your scarf. And I think I'm going to go with the top stitch. And if you want to do a fancy stitch, if you've got a machine that can do a fancy stitch, then this is the stage that you can do that. And I think I'm going to go for a bit of a fancy stitch on this one, just to add a bit more glamour to my evening scarf. So I'll join you again once I've pressed this, pressed the line across here, and we're ready to do the top stitch. Right, I've just finished doing my fancy stitch, going around the top here, and really do love this fabric, really happy with it, and the contrasting fabric as well. I think it works really well. Now it's that moment of where I decide whether to stop and say yes, project's finished, or for me whether I embellish it a bit more. And I've decided to rummage through my threads, and I found a thread similar to this colour here, and I'm thinking of doing a really close top stitch, just a straight stitch all the way around the edge here, just to make sure that my pom-poms are all secure, and I think it'll add to it. Let's hope it does. Anyway, I shall show you once I'm done. So I've just finished going around adding the green thread up here. Just see if I can zoom in so that you can see that a bit better. So yeah, I've just added that on top. Really looking forward to wearing this, as I've said. Nice, easy make, and very practical. I hope you enjoy yours too, and send me pictures when you do make yours. Bye!